So I'm here at a very busy Unity Gardens. Every time I'm here, it's always a little bit quiet, but you have a group that's working here right now. And first of all, just so people understand all the sound that's going on, what is actually happening here right now?
Absolutely. So we have many, many volunteers, over 3,800 volunteers a year. Today we're wonderful, lucky enough to have the South Bend Community School Corp interns.
Nice.
They work year round. Sometimes the school, the colleges where they work are closed for spring break.
Okay.
So they come in and do seeding and planting, and we did bulbs the other day.
I'm kind of jealous of how dirty their hands are right now. It's like my favorite thing to touch the earth. It just feels so nice.
That combats depression. Did you know that?
I mean, I've no doubts about it. Grounding yourself.
Exactly.
So
it feels
grounded.
so good.
Now, I know you're struggling to stay grounded with awards that you're getting right now. Tell me about USA Today. What happened there before we get into what's going on right now?
I received a call. USA Today had celebrated in 2021 Best of Earth Kind. We won a contest, a nationwide contest for what we do at Unity Gardens. They wanted to revisit that for Women's History Month.
Nice.
And so they called up and they wanted to do an interview, and it was really exciting because this is a way that the entire nation can understand what Unity Gardens is all about.
Yeah, that's I know you don't do this for awards, but it's always nice to get that kind of recognition just to kind of boost the mission, right? And boost the message of the mission. And you never know, somebody across the country might see that and think, I should do that here too, right?
That's exactly what I'm hoping. I take one for the team, so to speak, because it has very little, especially these days, to do with me.
Yeah.
But what it does have to do with what the power of community and what we can do if we come up with our own local solutions to local problems.
Yeah.
What if we're kind and share with one another? Like free food in gardens is a perfect way to teach that.
Absolutely.
But really that mission is so much more. Like we don't have to, in our hearts, focus on a scarcity model.
Yeah.
We can literally live as if there's abundance and share with one another.
Well, I work on a lot of projects involved with food, and there is an abundance, actually, and that's the one thing that it seems it's more like about getting it to people and the logistics of it and being in the right neighborhoods the way you are to make sure people get it. So that there is an abundance of food. So we should think about it like that because there is enough as long as we actually just, are able to connect people to it. So,
well, and the karma of sharing in general just expands beyond food. What if we used reused clothing or shared what we no longer needed at homes? The end is never in sight.
No,
Yeah.
we just need to organize good. I think that's the thing.
Absolutely.
It's hard to organize good because often it's in pockets doing its own thing. But when we can get people together, we can be surprised at the
That's
power.
exactly what's happened here.
I know that's a part of some of the things you're doing, like the Growing Summit that's coming up on Saturday, March 14th. Tell me about that. That's about organizing some people, getting them together.
Exactly. This happened for the first year in 2010 at Keller Park Church, where a group of different people throughout the community with expertise about growing or gardening or environmental things or nutrition came and each did a class. So we've had between 20 and 30 classes every year on it used to be a weekend, but now it's one day, Saturday. The St. Joe County Public Library has been kind enough to always host that since then, and Lippert Components has sponsored it so that it's free for everyone.
That's great. How do you get, because teaching people is one thing, right? I think every time I see you, I'm like, I really want to start this spring. I really want to grow. Like the idea of growing is just, what's in it. In a world where food is constantly attacked with things, it's like, and every year I don't do it. How do you get people from the knowledge to the execution? Because it is tough, right?
That's part of it. If you focus on one area, it gets a lot easier. For instance, if you have seeds, cool weather seeds, and throw them at the ground, some's going to grow. But we also can expand our success ratio, if you will, by using fresh seeds or warm water, by watering underneath with seedlings or using a fan to keep them strong. There's a zillion little tricks. And this isn't just about what happens in the garden. It's what happens underneath the garden with soil and composting and beneficial insects, and then it's also herbs and herbal medicine, what happens inside us in that whole cycle. And then even environmental things like natives. And why do we need natives in a vegetable garden? You can learn all these things and more.
I love that. And as you mentioned, start simple, right? Not start with the simple things, because Well, if there was one thing that a beginner should start with, what's that one kind of vegetable? What's that one thing that you would recommend?
So whatever you like to eat.
I know, but if there's one thing that I'm like, okay, I would really struggle to kill this, or like, you know, like a cactus, but like for a vegetable.
Right.
Like,
well, I think kale is extremely
really?
easy.
Okay.
However, second year, no.
Okay.
And then read the back of the package. If I had one like tip, read the instructions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've already lost if I have to read the instructions.
Oh no.
We got a day coming up here for on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, I could not have a better ambassador to introduce that.
Never to be called St. Patty's Day, okay? We're not sausages. It's not a thing, okay? But what's happening on Irish Day?
Irish Day, this is a day to volunteer at Unity Gardens. We're celebrating with community partners things that make our community great, like Fiddler's Hearth, Amazon, and South Bend Reentry Center.
Yeah.
So a number of different partners that support not only Unity Gardens, but our community in one way or another. Peas and potatoes are the two earliest things you can grow, so we're going to be planting those.
And you know, Irish people, we really need help with those potatoes, because I don't know if you know our history, but
diversification is the key.
But that is true. But yeah, so no corned beef involved in this, which is good, because corned beef is not a traditional Irish dish. I don't know if anyone knew that.
That's hilarious. I did not know that.
So I always give it a pass, okay, and I'll tell you why. Because so we eat like bacon and cabbage in Ireland, right? So like bacon is more like ham here, like the thick ham.
Interesting.
But Irish immigrants, when they came to the US, ham was too expensive, so they changed it to corned beef because that was a cheaper meat. So it's technically not an Irish dish, but it is an Irish immigrant dish. So it gets a bit of a pass because it's not totally made up, like Lucky Charms.
You're authentic.
Yeah, and then finally we have Earth Day coming up, which is a little bit further out. I know these are pretty close,
Absolutely.
But Earth Day is on April 18th. So what are you going to be doing for that?
So we'll be doing another volunteer day. We're getting the garden ready. April 18th is right in that time frame that we can celebrate through cold weather plants. We're not doing warm weather plants, so we're really preparing the earth for everything that Unity Gardens is going to grow.
So when it comes to, because again, we talk about these specific things, but obviously people can either make it or they can't, or sometimes they see this and, you know, we procrastinate a bit on helping out. But if people wanted to get their hands dirty and come up and help, like, are there opportunities just like showing up and saying, hey, I want to volunteer? Are there opportunities just to, or does it always have to be around these days?
Absolutely. So we have volunteer opportunities every single day year round.
Okay.
We have a volunteer manager who helps coordinate that. We always have things to do with the team, and we're open 7 days a week year round, 9 to 5 or 9 to 7, just depending on weekday versus weekends.
Yeah. And it's not just people who get recognized in USA Today who need to stay grounded. Like, we all need to stay grounded,
absolutely. Right? We're so disconnected from nature.
Well, actually, and I talked to somebody about this locally who's really into this, and you know, the tree hugger analogy, but like, he's literally like, if you can put your bare feet in the grass and touch a tree, it's like the best, you know. And we're the only species on Earth that don't regularly touch the ground because we're wearing shoes all the time.
Or have given away our ability to feed ourselves multi-generationally. Yeah. It's amazing. IU Medical School really highlighted the importance of physiologically touching the earth as a combat to depression or anti-anxiety effects of green space.
No, I used to think those crazy hippies, you know, and now I'm like, no, I totally think like that.
You are one now.
And now I don't look like it, you know, but I totally am. It used to feel like it was a derogatory term, and now it's like, oh, they have a figured out term, like, you know. So congratulations on all you're doing.
Thank you.
I know, as you said, you know, there's a lot of people here that make this happen now. Continue to grow every year. So thank you to everybody here, the 3,500 volunteers, and everybody else, the staff members. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.